Sorry about that, folks. Welcome to Mornings with the Focus. Technical difficulties as usual on my end. I have an issue with the mute button. But again, we got a little bit to get through last night. I told you guys yesterday, WNBA Draft was taking place that night. It is now the following day. Take a quick look at some of the picks, share some thoughts. We'll talk about it more in length. That's the WNBA Draft on this week's installment of the Focus TV. But to start today, just to go through some of these picks last night. In the first round, at least, Ryan Howard was the number one overall pick. So no shock there. I'm sure the University of Kentucky is definitely proud. Indiana Fever got Nalissa Smith, and, she was happy to be drafted. Felt like she should have went number one. So that's always a good thing. If you're the Fever, you got someone who is coming in with a built-in chip on their shoulder. The Washington Mystics went with Shakira Austin. They went with the very, very high upside, knowing that they feel like they have the time and the staff to, get that out of her and bring her along slowly. Indiana Fever, Emily Inksler. New York Liberty went with Nayara Sabali. Indiana Fever, they had 4 picks in the first round. I think it was the first time the team has had that many picks in the first round. WNBA Draft. Again, Emily Inksler, probably one of the better wing defenders in this draft. Lexi Hall with the Fever, Dallas Wings took Veronica Burton. Arike Agumbawale was very happy last night. One of the things Veronica Burton said and her availability with the press was she's already going to start watching film to figure out where her teammates like the ball. So, making sure she's getting in on their good side early as a point guard hoping to make noise on this roster. Las Vegas took Maya Hollingshed. The Sparks had a good night as well. They took Ray Burrell. Indiana Fever, Queen Egbo, some size in their front court. Las Vegas Aegis took Kirsten Bell. Was at Ohio State, finished up at Florida Gulf Coast. The Connecticut Sun, Nia Clouden, local kid. She was a bucket in Michigan State. The Connecticut Sun, we already know they're contenders. You can never adding shooting never hurts. The Aces, again, Kayla Pointer. To start off the second round, and the Mystics took Kristen Williams. With the second pick in the second round, we had Naz Hillman come off the board at 15. And then what everyone was waiting on, Destiny Henderson, who I don't know why. I guess we'll find out later why she dropped to the second round. Some teams are going to have to answer for that, especially the Fever. Okay, so the Fever took her in the second round. So what was weird to me, and I guess if you're the Fever, like if it was reversed and if she got selected where Lexi Hall got selected, I don't think anybody has any issues at all. If she went 6, or if she went 6, cool, but she went 20th overall. But it's a good pick. She was one of the best point guards in this class. We'll see how things go. In terms of just looking at folks' draft halls, not going to get into draft grades too much just because, look, man, it's one day. And unlike the NBA, WNBA, there's not a lot of time for youngsters, and it's very hard to stay on rosters. So draft grades, we could revisit that in the future, down the line just a little bit. In terms of what the Mystics got, just to talk about that a little bit before we move on. Coach T was very happy last night. He identified, felt like the team got better last night, especially with both of their selections. The press release just shared some quotes from Coach Tebow. Shakira is a terrific talent that can play both post positions, and she can be a big part of our future. She's one of the rare young players who can make an immediate impact on the defensive end of the court. She works at it, can block shots, rebounds, and she's a great communicator. On offense, she can face up or play on the block. As for Kristen Williams, she's an effective offensive player both on and off the ball. One of the things they talked about ad nauseum in just a little bit that we had with Coach T and Kristen last night. They're very happy about the fact that she can play without the ball. She played with other good players at Connecticut, and she's comfortable with the ball, without the ball, able to operate the pick and roll, has good size, willing and capable defender. One of the things he was the most happy about was they know what their roster looks like, perfectly healthy, wanted to improve the depth. And the youngsters, he likened it to in 2019 when they had Ariel Atkins and Maisha Hines-Allen. Ariel Atkins got more time than Maisha, but for Maisha, she came along slow just because of you got drafted to a loaded roster. You're not going to take roster spots. You're not going to jump folks, especially in this league. And she kept working. And at some point, that time came, and she was ready for that opportunity. And looking for where Maisha started, where Maisha is right now, is night and day. And she's a big part of what the Mystics have going forward. So they got 2 picks, and feel like they're definitely, obviously Shakira's going to be on a roster. Looks like Kristen's definitely has a great shot as well. She had folks laughing when she was saying that Coach T reminded her of Gino a little bit more. I'm sure we'll get more into that, on media day and stuff. We get a chance to talk to her. But for Washington, look, we're going into this thought about Coach T being what he is. He's an all-time winningest coach in that league for a reason. And he's a top-notch general manager, again, for a reason. We'll get into more WNBA draft, both in the global sense and as it pertains to the Mystics a little bit more on this week's installment of the Focus TV, which you guys can check out tomorrow morning on our Roku channel. All right, take a quick look at the NBA play-in schedule. We told you guys that the play-in starts this week. First round of the NBA playoffs starts this weekend. Tonight, kicking things off with Brooklyn, Cleveland, 7 p.m. One of the things to keep in mind for that game is that Jared Allen is listed as out. So there's no Jared Allen in this matchup. These two played each other literally a few days ago. They played each other on Sunday. So you got an opportunity. The winner, you're locked in at the 7th seed. If you lose this game, you have a chance to play the winner of the 9-10 game, the 9-10 matchup. The loser of the 9-10 matchup, as we talked about already, you're out. So if you lose the 9-10 matchup, there's no second chance for you. And then on the Western Conference side, you got the Wolves and the Clippers at 9:30 tonight, both games on TNT. Just a reminder for the Clippers, they got Paul George and Norman Powell back. So it's 2 big pieces. We know the Wolves have really stepped things up second half of the season. We'll see how things go. And we'll definitely be talking about both of those games tomorrow morning. All right, Justin, got you here. So gonna talk a little NFL this morning. Where is it that you wanted to go? Because we got a lot of time. So there's no need to jump into position groups heavily each and every time that you're here. I know we have a lot of discussions, off the air about things, about philosophies, team building, etc. I think you said that's something you want to talk about today. So the floor is yours. Let's get to it.
I think a conversation we have a lot that just the team building philosophy or strategies of teams are, like they say, the NFL is a copycat league, and we watch everyone's new thing is you got to have Josh Allen, you got to have Pat Mahomes, you got to have this, and I think in some ways that's kind of an issue. That's a problem, because to make it simple, there's how many Pat Mahomes are there, how many Josh Allens are there, and how many times you take a swing and think you're getting a Josh Allen, and Josh Allen wasn't supposed to be Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is a problem a lot of these teams face where you're passing up good players for these lottery tickets. And again, no one can tell you who's a star, who's not going to be a star. It's a feeling. Like even like a draft board, we don't all have the same draft board because we don't all run the same stuff. I mean, everyone may seem like they're trying to run the 49ers or Rams stuff, but each team has their own plan. And I think that's where teams get confused, and so do we. But I think it's a conversation we can have today is more so like, what is the right way to go? Is there a right way to go about it? Or do you just build a roster? Like if you have a team like the 49ers who just have a talented group of players and they found their quarterback at the end of it. Or even like what the Browns took a long way to do it, but ended up doing where you got a lot of talented players and they decided, hey, you know what, let's go. Now we can move to a couple of these players if we have to, or use some draft picks to go get this quarterback to finish off our roster. As opposed to every year saying, I got to go trade up and get this guy. I need this quarterback. You're trying to force these things to work and it doesn't work out. So I was just basically wanted your take on it. We could go back and forth on that.
Yeah, I think it starts with just getting talent in your building as a whole, right? Like it's one of those things. If you find the guy, I think the guy in the center is one of those things where if you don't think you have the guy, then you should just be patient. I don't think that's something you should force. Now, I think what we see in this league a lot of times, people like they're so focused on getting the guy that sometimes, you can't see the forest through the trees or what have you. It's cliche, but you cycle through that position, you burn picks and resources at the position where it's like, hey, how about you take a deep breath, stack up the rest of your roster, right? And even if you have a guy who's solid, if your roster is stacked, you can do a little bit more. That guy that's just okay you can get a little bit more out of them if you stack the roster. But if you routinely miss and you miss talent and you almost put yourself at a deficit, especially in your division, if you're the one that's cycling through, you're burning resources only at QB and you haven't hit, everyone else is building. Well, you could have been building the whole time, and then it's just, hey, how about you build? And then you come across something where, not to say one falls off the back of the truck, but if your roster's stacked, now those draft picks become even more better ammunition because you don't have a use for them. You can package several ones. Who cares? What do you care? Like if you felt like your roster's good enough, what is that one? I'm gonna draft somebody who can't play right away anyways. No, you go draft somebody. I want that. Go give me that. Give me the last piece to my puzzle. So I mean, I think there's several ways you can go about it, but again, at the same time, if the guy's looking you in your face, take the guy, figure out the rest later.
No, I think the thing that's interesting is like a lot of these having a vision. Like you watch some of these teams. Like again, I watched the Rams. The Lions show. The show on the Lions this weekend, and it was just amazing how it's just the whole focus was just to acquire talent, get physical players, and they'll figure it out when it gets to it. When you're a team that's lacking, reaching and going to try to grab a specific quarterback, it's not going to make a difference. You have guys that can carry a team. You have Aaron Rodgers. You have guys like that who maybe they're making the front office look a little better than they really are, but that catches up with you at some point. It's like it sounds stupid. It's almost like the what do you say, the tortoise and the hare. You just keep building. The teams that are just keep building, like what the Patriots did, or certain things like that. And obviously, you get fortunate to catch a Brady or whatever, but you just have a talented roster, and now you can make a move in a couple of different directions as opposed to you're stuck chasing this quarterback. You put all this money in the quarterback, it doesn't work out. How is Kirk Cousins with the Vikings working out? How is different things like that? And like we talk about all the time, you have decent quarterbacks who 49ers have been winning with a slight, we could say, average quarterback for years. I read a tweet, made a ton of sense. Like if 49ers had a better quarterback, they got 2 Super Bowls right now. And that's with not even a great quarterback, just having a above average quarterback that can make a few plays, or what the Rams are doing. What the Rams are winning with golf. I think it's just teams want to be bailed out and want to make it as easy as possible. But if you have a good staff and you put a good organization together, you can actually build a good team that's going to be good for a while.
No, I'm with you. And that's why, like, you were talking about the Lions. I feel like they're in a good place, honestly.
Right.
You need a quarterback or what have you, but you got what's it called? You got a stopgap guy. You got a guy where if you fix the rest of the talent on a team, he's solid enough, and he's not even as limited as somebody you brought up earlier. So look, man, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. I think that's why sometimes we have those huge swings where team, you got folks like, man, where did this team come from? Dude, they were only missing one thing. They accidentally got it. Right. They weren't that far away. It's just that we didn't value what they had. I'm not saying you and me, but folks on the masses didn't value what they had because people weren't talking about it. Sometimes you don't know about it. Like I think you and me last year when, last year during the draft when the Bengals got chased away, yeah, they need offensive linemen, but you get a guy like that, it pays off, right? And then look what they did in the offseason. Like they pretty much like bought a defensive line.
Full defense.
Almost a full defense.
Yeah.
And it paid dividends. So now, you made a run. Yeah, offensive line's issue. So you know what the luxury they have this year? They have one huge need. Just one. They don't have several.
Right.
One. Which means you can go for, look, they got Leo Collins already, right? Cool. Didn't cost you draft picks or what have you. Just got Lil Collins, right? The better right tackles in the league. You get to go in this draft where there's tackles. Man, I don't know how many selections they have, but they don't need all of them.
Right.
Honestly, not to be mean, just being honest. Like, you don't need all of them. So you go in there, get what you need to get, and call it a day. That's it.
Right.
And some stuff's gonna fall to you because other people are looking for the things that you already took care of. And that's
Right.
where, what you were talking about. Being the tortoise or the hare in some cases with building. Dorian got one here. It's about the Rams don't believe in picks. I think one of the other things that the whole conversation with the Rams has when people have it is like, but they're good at drafting. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a caveat there. Yeah, they don't care about the first and second rounders because when they've had, like, at least recently under this regime, when they've had them, they hit.
Right.
Like, if you got Aaron Donald and you hit, man, you don't care. You don't care about life. Like, how often do you get one of those guys? They
Right.
saw Jacksonville on, I don't know what drug Jacksonville was on. Oh, there's a Jalen Ramsey. Hey, look, man, what you want? Picks? Take them. Like, I know what this thing is. Take whatever pick you want. Give me a known quantity. We'll figure it out later. And then, even what's it called? Some of the corners they've had in the past years, they've had them. It was time to resign them, and they'd be like, you know what? I guess we're just gonna go draft people around.
We could build another one. We could build another one.
Because at the end of the day, Jalen's your movable chess piece in the back end, right? Cool. Aaron's your movable chess piece in the front end. Cool. Do you care deeply? Look at what they did with young boy from the Bears. Leonard Floyd went from, man, how come you can't, like, go help Khalil Mack? You play with Aaron Donald, and it's like, I told you I was drafted for a reason.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because there ain't nobody thinking about you, man. Like, not to be mean, but, that's it.
But the thing is, with the Rams that you give them credit for is it's the strategy. You could tell they believe in it. It's not like, okay, we're trying this ain't working, go here. Like, they're locked in on this. They're committed to this, and until this blows up, and the difference with a lot of other teams is, okay, you can have these 2 or 3 stars that are making a lot of money, but their 2 or 3 stars are the best players in the league at their position. You know what I mean? So there's teams that are paying bad corners close to Jalen Ramsey money. There's teams paying defensive tackles that are okay close to Aaron Donald money. And it's like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey are the best at their position, so they run their scheme through these 2 people. Whereas there's other teams that are, they're half in on this, half in on that. So for them, Stafford was the final piece offensively because they run their offense through Cup, or whatever. And then the late round picks, you got your Jordan Fullers, your Taylor Rapp, like different players. They fit their scheme and they run it a certain way. So that's why it works for them. Like other teams, and not everyone can do that. I have a team that they spend money on people and it ain't going nowhere close to how the Rams go. The Cowboys, we got the highest paid quarterback, the highest paid quarterback. We got the highest paid running back. Got rid of one of the highest paid wide receivers. I'm sorry, and you ain't getting the same value as the Rams are from these things. So I think the Rams' plans work for them, but everyone can't do that because there's not 32 Jalen Ramsey, not 32 Aaron Donald. So I think that's just a big thing with team building.
No, it's a huge thing. Real quick, from Big J52, why would WNBA teams move off a first round pick? I guess that's what 1 RP means. I'm guessing it's cost of contracts and salaries. You talk about why would they get rid of a first round pick that's on a roster? One is roster spots are incredibly hard. It's not like the NBA where folks get drafted and you got a little bit of time to figure it out. Even if a team misses, WNBA in the past, you've had first round draft classes that have not stuck in the league because it's cutthroat over there. It's incredibly hard to stick on rosters. I'm again, if I'm not answering your question correctly, please just retype it, give me a little bit more context so I could answer correctly. Or if you're asking why a team would trade down or out of it, but yeah, the cost of contract go a long ways with how they build out their rosters. Like for instance, those rookie contracts, right? If you're a loaded team, you got some, you want to go get like, what's the NBA equivalent? Like the back end of your roster, you want folks that are like on like the mid-level exception and things of that nature. The WNBA side of that, it's almost better to have rookies taking up those spots. So you have more flexibility paying higher folks in your rotation. Kid Ray, I would trade Dak, Zeke, and have a Dallas Stafford 2-2s and next year 7th. Right now, I am sorry, man, for that type of pain. It does not sound fun. But Justin vents to me on a regular basis about what y'all go through over there, so I get it. I get it. Need to cut ties with Zeke. They do. But that's, choices are made, man. Choices are made. Go ahead, Jesse. You have something? You're on mute, sir.
Sorry, probably better off on that one. Now, I think Dallas has this blind loyalty that makes no sense to people. Like, I think it's just, if you don't buy into Jerry, that's how you get the money. I think Amari Cooper's a reserved, quiet player. They got rid of him. Like, I think it's just, they just have their thing. Like, they had to pay Zeke for their own reasons. There's just Jalen Smith. There's certain players that for some reason they bond with Jerry Jones, and that's their lock-in to get the money. It's me and Ray talk about the Zeke over Jalen Ramsey pick daily for the last 10 years. So I think that's stuff like that. It just catches up with you. Bad selections and re-signing players that you shouldn't re-sign because they're yours. I think that's caught up with them.
All right. I think Dallas suffers because of play calling. Dak is inconsistent, but McCarthy does head scratching things too often. I'm gonna tell you right now, Dorian, you preaching to the choir as far as Justin goes. That's why he's nodding his head like you and like you're preaching right now, because it is something he said many times. And again, back to team building, that stuff matters too. It truly does. Staff for bad ones. Kid Ray need a little bit more context. Got you though, just a little bit more. But yeah, man, that's the fun part about it. Period. As far as the team building things go, there's no right or wrong way, and I think where folks mess it up is thinking that like, oh, I could go copy that. Be careful about the whole copying something, because if it's something that's not replicable, like you're missing a key part about it, you're wasting your time. Like you said with the Rams thing, right? Do you have 2 Hall of Fame players in which to build your defense around? Where they're still in their prime? No? Okay, then not. You need your picks, okay? You need your picks. And not only do you need your picks, you need to draft well. So
yeah. It all works together too, though. Like you're saying, the coaching staff and the front office, like you can put the greatest group of players together, but if the play calling doesn't maximize what you're getting, like we talked about Dallas, those weapons at receiver were good enough offensively. Even with Zeke doing whatever he was doing, there's enough talent there to for the offense to be better. But you're not maximizing your talent offensively. Whether it's scheme wise or play calling wise, and that's where you get caught up. Whereas the Rams, 49 teams like that, everything's set up. Cooper Kupp's not the best receiver in the NFL, but they use him a specific way to maximize it. Or the way each players complement each other, the play calling complements each other with the players you get put on the field. I think it's just everything has to work together, and some teams don't do that. A lot of teams don't do that.
All right, I'll give you another quick example before we get back to the comments. Look at what a year did for the Broncos. Remember last year, everybody was like, oh, you need to take a quarterback, blah, 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 blah. They took Pat Surtain, minded their business, went to continue to build their team, because where they were selecting, they didn't like. They clearly weren't moved by what was on the board, right? Cool. They minded their whole business, kept adding talent to their roster. Lo and behold, a year later, oh, Russ wants out, huh? What's it going to cost? Oh, yeah, we got those things. Here you go. And now all of a sudden, that's kind of a big step up from what they used to have at their position to what they have now. And now, you're looking at them a little bit differently now that they have a guy under center. So,
yeah. Well, the interesting one. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, see, an interesting thing would be to see what happens with Miami. Like last year was this whole trade the world for Deshaun. Now look at them walking into this season with Tyreek Hill. Because you probably don't have those picks if you made the trade for Watson, and it wouldn't have helped you last year because he wasn't going to play. So I think it'll be interesting just to see how that works out, because the money you saved, or you still paid Tyreek a lot of money, but they still built the roster and they still kept the quarterback they had, and to see what that does for them. It'd just be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and then even worst case scenario in Miami, if you find out even under the new regime, right? I don't think it happened, but worst case scenario, if Tua is not your guy, guess what? You got a couple more years on his contract. You got some time to continue to build the roster out, and you can get by, right? Like we've seen in that scheme, you can get by until you get your guy. You can even go into this draft for all we know. If there's a guy you like who you think you want to take your time and groom them, you do so. But there's no pressure. But what you do know is that if you keep adding to your group, process elimination, what's left for you to focus on. All right. So what would you like to see Dallas draft? Question. I'm trying to catch up on the comments.
I mean, for them, I think with this type of draft, best player available, but I think they got to go receiver just because Gallup's out first half of the season, and all you have on the roster is CeeDee Lamb. So I'd probably receiver.
All right. Given the career length of NFL running back, should Saquon Barkley be considered a bust? If you're a Giants fan and watching, you might want to cover your ears for a second. You might not like what I have to say. So no one's happy with injuries. However, the blessing in this, the silver lining in all of this, if you're Saquon, because of your injury and all the other stuff that's going on with the moving pieces, with the new regime, etc., if you're able to get up out of there, your career could begin. Just not to be rude, just to keep it a buck. Your career could actually begin. You can go to a place where there's actual offensive schemes. People could actually figure out how to use you. And coming off the injury, probably won't get, overwork you because there's other things you can do besides, just run straight up the middle with the line that doesn't block to your detriment. So, I mean, we can see the other thing is with this regime, even how they've been acting so far, you got an opportunity where maybe they get right and they get you an O-line. So they can actually get value out of you. But, we'll see. But I don't think he's a bust yet. I don't. I'm real hesitant on throwing that word around, honestly.
You know what? If he was to be a bust, which he's not, I don't think he is. This is like one of the most talented athletes, like probably, honestly, ever to come to the NFL. I just think some of his flaws are being exposed by a team that doesn't know how to use him properly. Like I think they drafted him high and thought you just give him the ball and just run a specific thing, anything you want, and he's going to make it work. Because I mean, the flash you see the flashes, and some of the flashes are in the plays he makes. His 70-yard runs, 60-yard runs are amazing. I think if they learned how to use them, whether it's in the passing game or getting them outside or things like that, I think it's just like you were saying, they're running them into boxes, and you're wondering why he's hurt all the time. I think in the right situation, whether it's there or somewhere else, he's too good of a player to not have success.
Yep. Kid Ray, trade out the first, go O-line, wide receiver, defensive end, and tight end in that order. Talk about for Dallas. Not mad at it.
Nah, nope.
Not mad, especially considering
for Dallas, you are.
Yeah, especially considering what you've lost on your O-line and where some of the guys are currently in their careers on your O-line. And their most recent performance is not one that inspired confidence the last time that you saw them up front. Yeah, I would – look, man, you got some stuff to fix up front.
Why don't you just say it, Will? Say Tyron Smith scares you.
Nah, I'm saying it's early. I'm trying to be mature, as long as I can this week. So I'm working on that, a little bit of growth or whatever. But yeah, their most recent performance does not inspire confidence in the least bit. And one of the guys that was the best in that performance is no longer on your team. He's over there blocking Joey B's blind side over there. Well, I'm sorry, not his blind side, but he got Joey B's back over there in Cincinnati. So yeah, I can see that. I'm an Eagles fan. This is Dorian Tall, and I hate y'all. But honestly speaking, talk about hate y'all as in Cowboys fan. If you guys got back to ground and pound without Zeke, you'd be set. You need an actual CB. Diggs is a pick magnet, but that's it. All you, Justin. Just here.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line isn't as good as it's been, as it's paid. It's not as good as it's paid. It's not as good as it's been talked about the last few years. And I mean, I agree with you because every time Tony Pollard seen the field, he was making plays. You know what I mean? It's easy. The backup guy usually is the guy everyone loves, but there's a different juice that Tony Pollard brought to the field than Zeke. And it was just obvious, and that was an issue. And then when it comes to the cornerback thing, Dallas has there's a lot relying on Kelvin Joseph this year to step opposite Diggs and be the cornerback. Basically he's not even to get interceptions, just to be reliable, to be able to take a matchup and be able to stalemate. Diggs is what he is. It's a league of turnovers, and he's going to be boom or bust from down to down, but still getting that many interceptions isn't easy, and I don't even know if he's so much covers as opposed to he's trying to get interceptions, which has its ups and downs. He's not at the Marcus Peters level where, Marcus Peters doesn't blow as many coverages, but Diggs that's what he is. For them, that's a weapon for them, because I don't know. It's just he's confident and he goes out and he makes plays. So I mean, they're really highly relying on Joseph to step in and replace Anthony Brown and be reliable. And then I think Malik Hooker is going to have a really good year this year at safety. That's one of the guys I like, and I think coming off the injury last year, he started to he started to play more, and they had Casey there, so they didn't re-sign DeMonte Casey. So I'm assuming they're going to move Hooker to free safety this year. They re-signed him. So I think he's a ball hawk, free safety. I think that's helped. You're on mute, bro.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was going to say, yeah, Dorian, I'm sure you would love Saquon in Philly. You want everybody in Philly, but with Saquon, the new regime got a chance to kind of fix some things around him, get the most out of him. They're none of one of those teams with whether I agree with it or not. I'm sure the new regime might feel like they don't know what they really have in their quarterback yet because of what the previous regime has put around him. Like you don't have an idea what offense looks like. Everyone in your backfield, you still have kind of question marks about because your offensive line has not been good yet. You have no idea. So there's a lot of teams like what Justin was talking about earlier with the team building. There's a lot of teams that got these big question marks under center. And at least to me, the best way to rule everything out, fix the rest of the team. Process elimination. I feel like you can't go wrong that way. That way you don't have to do this whole, I don't know, what if he had this? Go get that. Go get it. Go get whatever it is you feel they don't have that's allowing you to maybe have an excuse. Go get it. And then if it's still an issue, you got your answer. Change the quarterback. Change the quarterback. It's that simple. You're on mute this time, guy. How about that?
My bad. I said I'm with you on that. A big thing like we're talking about with drafting quarterbacks was this: if you are committed to a player and you love that guy, like a guy like Malik Willis or Pickett or whatever the case may be in this year's draft, if you're 100% bought in as a team, then you can pick them. But the thing is, you're picking guys because you think you have to. And I think that's what a lot of these years like, we got to take a quarterback. But if you don't love the guy, like you could tell there's teams that love Malik Willis. If a team loves him, then that's a good pick for you. Because you're going to have to go through the growing pains, ups and downs, and whatever that is. But I think where teams feel like they have to take one because it's a quarterback. Well, we don't have one. We have to take one. But if you don't love this guy, like, what's going to make you stick with him through the ups and downs? Because there's going to be ups and downs no matter who this guy is. I think, and that's what we keep seeing with a lot of these teams. Is they're taking a guy and there's no loyalty to him because you didn't want him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice way to say it. And again, like even with this, not to keep bagging on this group of quarterbacks coming in, but we were talking about a different sport with the draft last night. If you're going to pick that high, you swing for the fence. It's not that hard. Swing for the fence. So keeping that in mind, with this quarterback class that's coming out, if you feel like it might be a ground rule double at most, value that. Like, I'm not saying don't take them, but that means I'm not taking them high. Like, I'm just going to slide you over to the side. And if, depending on where the next round is, and you pop up and now you look like a value, now it looks great, like getting a ground rule double now in the second or third, oh yeah, that's big. Cool. Great. I did a great job at the plate in this case. But if I'm picking in the first and there's like blue chip players on the board and I have to have a quarterback, yeah, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. All right, another question. What team do you feel can make the biggest leap this year depending on their draft? Go ahead, Jesse. You got this. Unmute yourself first, too.
Let me think. I think some of the teams with 2 picks, like the Eagles. I mean, I think the Eagles are a team. They got the 2 picks. What else you got? Draft. Let me think. Who else you got? Let me think.
You talking about can make a jump?
Yeah, I'm saying based off the draft. I mean, most of the teams did in free agency.
I mean, like you said, the Eagles, I think, definitely have an opportunity to. The Eagles got an opportunity to go ahead and get right because the whole thing, like literally everything we've been talking about, if you feel Jalen's your guy, or if you're not sure, whatever, this is how you figure it out. You got 2 picks in the top 20. Bro, just double up. And we were talking about this the last time you were on, Justin. Like, outside of Derek Stingley looking you in your face, if you don't go wide receiver, and go enjoy your life, and figure out the rest of this later, like, corners will still be available later. Safeties will still be available later. You just do a bag at an edge rusher, life will be fine. You need interior defensive line, you can get that in the second and third and fourth and fifth rounds of this draft. But, again, you got a chance to round out that whole group of playmakers on offense. And you have one of you're not one of the teams in the league where your offensive line's bad. So, again, you have a chance to go in this draft and you got a tight end already. Like, there's a lot of things you already got. If you're Philly, bro, just go back-to-back wide receiver. Figure out what you want around Devontae. And that's it.
No, Steelers another one, I think.
Yeah.
I think they could, depending on what they do with that pick. I think that's a talented roster, and they compete, but their quarterback situation was really rough last year. And I'm not ultimately confident in Mitchell Trubisky, but the right pick could, that defense can hold up, and they have Najee, they have the weapons. So I think if they can hang in games and make a pick that, whoever that may be, I think that could help them make the jump. Like the other thing was like most of the teams that are ready to make the jump pretty much traded for quarterbacks. Gave up all their picks gave most of their picks. So that's why it's so hard to think of a team that's going to draft. Going to do it based off the draft.
Yeah, Ray said KC. I'm not counting KC. I refuse to count KC. I just can't. I'm sorry. At least to me, regardless of everything that's happened in AFC, that's who folks are still chasing, man. On that side, whether if people don't want to be honest with themselves, I'm not saying people don't want to be honest with themselves, what have you. Like, yeah, I know losing Tyreek Hill hurts. It does. But it hurts them the least out of everybody that could have lost to Tyreek Hill. So they're going to miss him drastically.
San Diego, maybe.
Yeah, but, I mean, that'd be one. Yeah, San Diego's a good one. I'm trying to think who else. I was gonna say Arizona, but I can't because they keep doing the thing where they take a step forward and 3 steps back, so I can't do it. Not gonna get me again. Then other teams they're just loading up. I am very intrigued about what the Saints are gonna do. Because this is post Drew Brees or whatever. You got Jameis right now or whatever, and we know that most recent trade they had with the Eagles. You moved up for something. What did you come up to get? I want to know what you came up to get. Because a lot of people are like, oh, they came up for a quarterback. Bro, you did not move up that high in this year's draft for a QB. I don't believe you. Don't believe you at all. What I can believe, one of those picks, if Stingley's right there, they're taking him. Because you can take Stingley, you compare it with you can take Stingley, you compare that with Lattimore, and that defense, a good defense gets even better. With the second pick, I don't know, but probably a wide receiver. Come up and get a wide receiver.
I could see them going receiver tackle, the receiver offensive lineman, and
oh well, yeah. See, I forgot about tackle because Armstead's not there, so that might be it. Because even with having Jameis, like, when Drew was there, man, he wasn't going downfield, like that. So, that's not how we played. Jameis, on the other hand, he gonna put that thing out there. So yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So you got to go give him weapons to suit him. Because so far you've had guys that can do it, what's it called? Like specialist, like deep route specialist or whatever, but they're not like fully formed star receivers or something like that. They don't have the type of upside to be, high-end guys. However, you got a chance to go in this draft at 16 or what have you, and one of the Ohio State kids is there. You might like it. Jameson Williams is there. You might like it. You might look at Burks and go, yes, put him opposite slant God, and we're going to have some fun. At least if I throw the yellow ball, that's a big target. It's a really big target. Dorian, let it go. I need you to let it go. I used to know Kamara this year either, but even with no Kamara, like I like the running backs in this draft. You don't have to move up to get a good running back in this draft.
Right.
You didn't need to come up, here to get one. Ray said KC won the next 4 out of 5 Super Bowls if they hit on their 2 first rounders. Man, that's the scary part with them, man. Like, scariest part, Jess has been on this for quite a while, like getting rid of Tyreek kind of, low key helps them. Oh man, I gotta say this the right way. You know how just reckless they are on offense, like just overly arrogant and reckless, where it doesn't need to be a drive. We don't need to have things buttoned down on a detail standpoint. We'll get them next time. We just need this one big play and everything's fine. Like they're the team where people be like, oh man, we just need this one big play, except like you believe it because they could do it. Like, you remember the end of the Bills game? Yeah, no, the end of that game had nothing happen. There was no reason for that stuff to happen. But for them doing it, we're just like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. But then again, we watch the Bengals just like, play slow. I dare you. Play slow. Take what we're giving you. I triple dog dare you. And they're like, no, I don't want to. I refuse.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's like you're waiting. It's like they're the type of team that they make the game harder than it needs to be for themselves. And they get out of these situations. And then like even that Bengals game, it was like, we lost. Like, I think they still believe they're better than the Bengals. They know they're better than the Bengals. But they're just so used to things working out that they never really stick to a style. They never stick to anything. It got to the point they're driving to win the game, and Mahomes he could have threw the ball away and he's running backwards 15 yards. Like, that's just been the way it's worked so much you can't say anything. Just like shooting 3-pointers from half court, like it works when it works. It's beautiful when it works, but when you miss it, that's a terrible shot. But it's like that's what the game's become for them because it just seems to always work, and after a while it catches up to you. So maybe this makes them just go back to the drawing board. You run your offense through Kelsey. You add some younger guys who kind of don't have those expectations that Tyreek has. Like right now, Tyreek's expectations is just I'll score every time I get it. And I think now it's a different mindset where it's going to make Mahomes have to, maybe lock in on his reads or read the defense a little more, or, just take the check downs or whatever that is and, see where it goes from there.
Yeah. But again, like you said, right, they got an opportunity with these picks up high to get right. And this other scary part, you freed up some money to actually, focus on your defense and not bargain bin your defense and go get stuff, like for real.
Right.
Like really go get stuff. Like think about the corner they kind of low-key had to give up because they had to have money for other things. Until they, I think when they didn't give the only reason Charvarius Ward hit free agency was because Ty was there and you were trying to save some money to give the Ty to re-up with Ty, right? And then whatever happens with Ty, Charvarius is gone. Oh man, we got $20 more million to play with. They still got to pay Orlando Brown Jr., I believe. So,
yeah.
Got some things to end up having to do. This is just petty. Andy Reid's the championship round guru. He's not making it out. Just petty. The good thing, you know what? The good thing, Andy had that for a while. You know what helped Andy? Getting a quarterback that could help Andy when Andy needed help.
Right.
So some coaches need that. It's nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with. Hey, I got you for 3.5 quarters. Can you get me?
Right. From when he's flipping through the book, that long book of plays, and he's confused, and Mahomes just like, I got this. Just keep going. Do what you're doing.
Yeah. Just keep flipping, coach. I got you. Yeah. He flipping. Pat's not even telling him. Yeah. As soon as that
Scramble
thing go
drill.
dead. Oh, no, we running this.
Get open.
Yeah, you just got to let that hurt go, Dorian. You got to let that hurt go. So we'll give y'all a chance for a couple more comments or what have you, then we're going to get out of here because we went over a little bit. We didn't go over, but we've been on here for a little while today. But appreciate you guys as well. And just a reminder, this week's installment of the Focus TV will be up tomorrow morning at about 9 a.m. on a Roku channel. And obviously we'll be back here tomorrow for Mornings with the Focus at 9:30 as usual. Fun week because, again, you got playing games almost every night this week. Love Cardell on this week at some time. Well, maybe not in the morning, but we'll have a couple all-around episodes this week. Portsmouth Invitational, where Portsmouth's happening, pretty much top seniors in the country. Get together, go at it in Portsmouth, VA, in preparation for the NBA Draft. So it's kind of like a mini combine for all senior players on the NBA side. So have some reports, nightly reports from that. Man, I just realized what's it called? WNBA training camps like next week, man. Yay. More stuff. I got to take advantage of this little week.
But they don't get no rest, huh?
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like the men, you get summer league, you get some time off, you get summer league, get some off season, you get some time to get right. Now you get drafted, you get on a plane, you go to your new team. You got 5 days to get your city, to get comfortable in your city, and training camp starts. And depending on where you got drafted, you might not be headed overseas anyways.
Pretty fast if your career is over.
Oh, quick. Oh, you fit. That's the sad part about it. You find out quick. There's no delay in that. You find out very, very quick. That's why I don't really get into, the grades too heavy on that side. Like some people had 4 or 5 picks last night. And every team got like 12, at the most, I think 12 roster spots. No. Just math. No. Everyone's not. It's sad, they need to expand and whatnot, but everyone's not gonna be there. Some people have to go overseas, build up their stock or whatever, come back and then rough somebody else the way they got roughed by a vet.
Right.
Again, NBA players, man, you got it nice to come in and just underwhelm some of you for a while, and it'll be fine. Someone believes you in somewhere else, and everything's cool. But all right, looks like Ray, Dorian, y'all have anything else? If not, man, like I'm quick to just hit the button, so I'm gonna give y'all a little time. But now, man, it's getting crazy, man. I'm just ready for the draft to get here because just the noise right now is absurd. It's just too much noise for me. Like everybody really thinks everyone's available for trade just because a couple guys in special situations got moved.
Right.
And that's the thing for me. Like the NFL is not about to turn to the NBA, y'all. Y'all gotta relax. Like you could want to force your way out. Everybody doesn't have that ability in this league.
I got a question before we go. I got a question.
What's up?
All right, so we talked about the Kansas City trade, right?
Yep.
What's your take on the Green Bay trade?
You said on the Green Bay trade? Oh, with Devontae leaving?
Just are they better or worse? Like, I mean, obviously today they're not better, but what do you think in the long run?
All right, so is it different? This is interesting, right? They clearly need wide receivers, right? You could have also avoided all of this, but it's another story for another day. I'm gonna leave that alone. You should have never got to that place, but y'all do what you do, and it is what it is. You got an opportunity here almost by force. Like this silver lining here, right? You end up in a jacked up situation. You move Devontae because you fumbled the bag there, right? Shouldn't have been that hard. However, at the same time, you had Devontae. You had some other young receivers on your roster, but your quarterback was ignoring all of them just to throw to one guy. So that's not, to me, that's not from a team building thing, right? Even going back to the Jordan Love thing, people are still harping on that. Dude, like in hindsight, I'm not even too mad at it because your quarterback's so mercurial. Like, he changes his mind about everything. I'd rather have a guy just in case Aaron wakes up one day and goes, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. Then what? At least have my guy in the building who I'm talking to, I'm building up. And, the only people that matter in that regard, long as Coach LaFleur and Jordan are on the same page, got nothing to do with Aaron. Aaron's going to be here till Aaron doesn't want to be. Cool. It is what it is. But from the wide receiver standpoint, they got a chance to obviously improve their roster. They got a chance to possibly finally become more of a physical team. Because that's like they're just soft, especially offensively. It's just sweet. Like, I don't think it's like on a, specific person type thing, but go get you some guys that do the stuff that the people who typically put you out the playoffs do to you. You know what it looks like because it sends you home every year. You know what it looks like very well. Your head coach comes from that tree. They know what it looks like. Like, they got a chance. Like, if you're in a draft, like wherever they're drafting, where are they picking in the first round?
Who they got? They have the Raiders pick in their pick. So Raiders went out in the first round.
Okay, so they got 22 20, and what else?
They went out in the second round, so what, 25, 26?
They got 22 and 28.
28.
Yeah, man, you got a chance. You got a chance to at least take a wide receiver that changes some things from a physical standpoint. And no matter what you take, you're not replacing Devontae, so it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
But you know what? It might do what you said, though. Sorry, like we talked about in Kansas City, where maybe you make this LaFleur's offense instead of Rodgers' offense. Because like you said, how many times does he lock down Devontae and the ball's going there no matter what?
Yeah.
And
people are open when he does it. People are wide open when he does it. The teams that usually get him out the way, the teams that understand, I can get away leaving that open because he's not going to do it. He's just not going to do it. I'm going to Devontae no matter what. All right, cool. You believe that. We believe that. No problem, boss. We got you. We're going to take you at your word. So, they got a chance to kind of they can't get better because you're not going to replace Devontae from a talent perspective. But you got a chance to you have a chance for it to not be as bad as it could be, to kind of at least stay where you are.
Be more diverse.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still screw the 2 picks, man. It couldn't be me. Screw the 2 picks. It couldn't be me. There's no reason to lose arguably the league's best wide receiver for just being disrespectful, honestly. It's just dumb. But hey, to each their own. They'll either figure it out or they won't. They're going to have the same problems. Also, you're going to have to address life up front because Kenny Clark be doing the most by himself. Give him some help. Just get him some help. You lost Darius. Again, a lot of the reason you got away with the stuff you got away was because you had one of the best 1-2 combinations in the league offensively. That's no longer here, buddy. You guys kind of mortal on that end. Might be more, patient, and that kind of helps other team defenses because, like you were talking about with KC, can Aaron be that patient that long? I don't think so. But hey, how do you feel about Kyle Hamilton? Dorian had to ask.
He's a top 15, 20 player in this draft. I think he's getting overhyped because of the look. Like, he has that build, but he's not big. He's a big player, but he's not super physical. He's not a true cover guy. He just has, he's tall, long, good instincts. But he's going to be more in the box. But you're not going to use him to cover slot receivers. He could cover some bigger tight ends, but the really, really loose tight ends he's going to struggle with. Just a really solid player. And I think we always do this thing where a year in advance we overhype everybody. Like, this guy's going to be the next this, the next that. But I just think he's a piece. You're going to have to put him in certain spots and to maximize who he is as a player. You don't just put him on your defense and you're a better defense. He's not just a safety. He's going to be strong safety. You're going to probably move around the box and get matchups for him to get the best out of him.
Yeah, just anybody that drafts him, commit to what he is, and you'll be fine. if you just think it's plug and play and everything, you're an idiot. Don't do that.
It's like the safety version of Isaiah Simmons. Like it's that type of play.
Yeah, if you don't have a legit plan and commit to him and then making the other stuff kind of like low-key building the defense around him, if you're not okay with that, don't pick him. Just save him the trouble, save yourself some time. Not going to lie. Because otherwise, you'll have him just as a box safety, and then you're not getting everything you can out of him.
Right. Exactly.
Then you just wasted a pick. Like, I mean, he'll be solid, but you're not getting all the stuff that makes him Kyle Hamilton.
Right. It's a deep safety class, though, too, which we'll get to at some point.
Yeah. No, for sure. Definitely will. Like, so if you're a team that has that single high guy, that has a great cover guy where you can leave him over the top, go get him. Go get him immediately. Say you're a team that got that guy over the top, but your linebacker core is kind of go get Kyle. They could buy you some time till you get some linebackers. You can do some interesting things in nickel and dime. But again, like you said, you can use him as one of those movable chess pieces, but you have to commit to him and using him all the ways he can be used. So again, that means literally committing to him. I don't know if you can. Because like the thing with him, like there's a gap between his athleticism and Derwin's, for instance, which is where I think a lot of people look at him and get, oh my God, chill, relax, cool. Like, put that down, like dial that down just a little bit. Derwin's one of those, oh my gosh, athletes, which makes that moving it around thing stupid. That's why the Rams can do what they do with Jalen. Jalen could play safety in the NFL if you wanted him to. But he can also, he's going to be a top whatever player just because of talent-wise, physically, he's a problem. Right. And Kyle, physically, he's not on those guys' level, but he's good up here to make up for it. So again, you got a really good smart player. What are you going to do with it? But I like him. Just people got to chill a little bit, man. Just come down just a little bit. Appreciate you, Ray. That's how I definitely know it's you. Thank you, I guess. I don't know. Telling me I'm nice to insulting people, I guess. Appreciate it.
We got to get Ray for an hour on the Cowboys only.
Man, I just sit here and laugh.
They might get banned after, but
man, just jokes. I'm gonna sit here literally with popcorn. All right, but Ray, Dorian, you guys good? Anybody else have anything else? If not, we're gonna get out of here. Again, if there's position groups you want us to get through, all you guys got to do, get on here any morning, let us know. So even if it's the morning Justin's not on, I'll respond. And if it's something that's too much for me, guess what? I'll write it down and we'll bring it up again when Justin's around. So it's really that simple. But yeah, there's too much, man. Like people going nuts about too many different things. I just don't have time for it. Did you see one of these things, Justin, where somebody had Burks going to Tennessee?
No, I didn't.
That he fought at Tennessee, which would be hilarious.
Wow. Oh, that's the I did see that. That's NFL.com dude.
Yeah. No. This one's I think Jordan Reeves for ESPN's.
Oh, okay.
Which is
interesting. You know what it is? There are teams there are people that have Burks 5th or 6th receivers, so it is possible.
Oh, they got him 5th or 6th? Yeah.
There are people that have it. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the way it works out here.
That's wild. Like I said, I'm gonna be happy if my guy turns out to what I think he's going to be. If he ends up where I want him to be, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be very annoying and rambunctious if I'm not even gonna keep talking about him because I don't want other people to enjoy his tape like I have. But the other thing is this edge rusher class. We're gonna get into that at some point too. It's a lot to get through. But y'all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you guys for hanging with us this morning. We appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow morning. And then again, busy week with the Focus as a whole. Weekly installment of Focus TV will be up tomorrow morning on our Roku channel. So if you got a Roku television device, all you got to do is type in, in the little search box, type in the Focus TV ad channel, whatnot. Take care of that. And a reminder for what happens here. Again, any morning, I got a little short list of selected topics. After that, you guys get to steer it. Again, I don't control it. If y'all get on here every day, man, and you steer this thing to the draft, I guess that's what we'll be talking about once we get to y'all's portion of the show. It is what it is. So I can't control it. As long as y'all bringing up stuff within reason, we'll talk about it. So y'all have a good day. Get at you guys. Tomorrow will be Wednesday already? Yeah. See you guys Wednesday morning.